Actions speak louder than words, but the pen is mightier than the sword. Are these two in conflict? Actions and words? I don't know about you, but I've been paying attention to the political drama this year, the different primary, the debates, and it seems to me a lot of the leaders, the politicians, have a lot of troubles with their actions not exactly matching their words. And again, I guess it's pretty much true of politicians in any year or any election, right? So I got to thinking and watching these. I went back and read some of my old writings from about 4 years ago. And they kind of inspired me again. Let me set the stage for you. So 4 years ago, it was coming up to the California Republican primaries, or the primaries in general, and really wasn't happy with the candidate choices that year. Most of the ones I was interested in dropped out of the race. And we had the leader of the Republican Party at the time basically telling us who to vote for. We want unity in the party because that's pretty much more important than anything else, is this unity front going forward into the election. I didn't agree with that. I especially didn't agree with him getting involved in our state elections because that's never really been done before. The National Party doesn't get involved with that. So I did something out of my comfort zone. I took an action. And what I did is I went down to the county courthouse on the last day it was allowed. Well, not the county courthouse, the registrar's office across the street from the county courthouse. On the last day it was allowed, and registered as a write-in candidate on the Republican Party for the office of President of the United States. But that's not the only thing I did. I also decided to do, I'm going to put this out there, just kind of post on Facebook, not do any real campaigning. It's not much time anyway. A lot of my friends had already submitted their absentee ballots, so I wasn't getting their votes. What I decided to do was ask me anything. Do an ask me anything. Basically, ask me any question, any subject, and I'll try to answer it. And I got one question toward the end there that required me, or what I did was I responded with a full blog post. And this is what I wrote then. Let me just read it to you. I was asked the following question. Jeremy Hannon, if you became president, what would you do to make the United States a better place? What is your plan to make that happen? What a huge question. There are many things that I would do, each with its own implementation plan. However, all are rooted in a few details. The government must be empowered by the people, not the government permitting the people to act. A government must be open, transparent, and truthful. The way the government spends and manages money must fundamentally change. Budgeting should reflect common sense and operate more like a business and allocate money where it is needed to accomplish tasks that are needed. Currently, we just increase a department's budget each year and assume they needed and wisely spent the money from the last year and will continue to have the same need the following year. The federal government is the best place and is best equipped to handle some things, but those things are very few. The governmental choices should be as close to the people as possible. Now, I could get into plans to change the way the executive branch manages itself and those agencies and services it oversees. I could go into the plan to reduce some agencies to their core services and stop the government sprawl and their increasing encroachment on our daily lives. I feel that there is, however, a more fundamental question here. When the first draft of the Declaration of Independence was penned, it had the phrase life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. Private property was an important concept to the Founding Fathers, but they wanted something even broader and even more inspiring, so it was changed to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think we need to reach for these higher ideals and broader inspiration. The best way to make the United States a better place is to set an example. Our leaders, all of which are human, well, last time I checked, they need to realize that they've been placed in a position of authority and need to lead by example themselves. Each one needs to strive to live their life as if others were looking to them for guidance. Each one needs to strive to be better for all. Each one needs to strive to look at the big picture and leave their world just a little bit better. Now, some of you may be thinking this is too touchy-feely, but actually this is about work ethic and how we run our government. Putting this attitude into place would make great strides in a more efficient government, one that responds to the people and wastes less. For this to work, however, I think this attitude must come from the top. For many years, people have looked at a leader's qualifications, those things on paper, to determine who to vote for in the big office of president. Morals, etc., were not a factor. This has consequences for every position under the president and to that of the whole country. I believe that at this point in our nation's history, we need a president that is from the common people and can lead by example themselves. This to change attitude in the government, in this nation, and in the way other nations perceive us. In short, the best way to make America better is not in the numerous policies, reduction in taxes, and improving the environment for businesses to thrive, all of which I would do. The government is not one person, but it is the tone and direction that is set by that one person. The best way is to simply set a good example and teach others leaders in the government to do the same. And that's what I wrote 4 years ago. And I still believe it. You see, I took an action. I stepped out. I took a different action in saying to ask me questions. But it's the words that I put out there that came back to impact me later. And really, what I was talking about is having your actions align with your words. Things like leadership, quality, the way you present yourself, the way you lead, morals. Actions and words need to work together. Actions speaking louder than words. The pen is mightier than the sword. Now, they're not in conflict. When done right, they mutually reinforce each other. Thank you.